Hey, what's up, Catfish World? How's everybody doing? Melhorn here, out trying to catch some catfish on Lake Wiley in North Carolina. Actually, yeah, I'm in North Carolina right now. South Carolina's right over there. This is North Carolina right here. Anyway, dragging some baits, out trying to catch some fish. Hope everybody's doing good. Thanks for joining in. I know people will trickle in for a little while here. I was live on Facebook a little bit ago, but I'm live here now. Gonna fish for a little while. I'm calling this ahead of the storm. Even though we're a pretty good ways out from it, we've got a hurricane coming. And I know you guys in Texas, we're still praying for you, buddy, because y'all have been hammered. You got a long way to get recovered down there. It's gonna be months and years before that happens. So, but the East Coast is getting ready to get hit. So something's gonna be happening here pretty soon. I'm gonna try to give you some wind protection here. They say what I'm fishing in today is remnants of Hurricane Harvey, whatever happened to it when it went up into the, spun around and came back down. But we had some rain. That's why I'm in my rain suit. First time I've had a jacket on all summer. It's actually almost chilly. It feels like fall out here finally for once. It's in the mid 60s. It's going to be into the 50s tonight. It was cloudy and rainy most of the day. I stayed inside and edited some videos, worked on my blog. I have a blog now on melhornfishing.com, so be sure to check that out. Mindless ramblings of different stuff. And I'm trying to get it posted up on Catfish Clothing's website. They have a blog. I partnered with them on some promotional stuff, and so yeah, I'm trying to get the blog up on there, so you may be seeing some of it up on there. You can go to my website, Melhorn Fishing. There's a link on there to Catfish to get on there and see where all their stuff's at. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. It's been pretty good. Let me see what we got here fish-wise. Let me get my phone here into the holder, and we'll see where we're at fish. I'm gonna plug in my charger. We're at 6. There was one caught earlier live when I was on Facebook. I had a 13-pounder, and most of them have been small blues. They've been small leader blues. And uh-oh, look out! Hook 'em in the mouth. Kayak fishing is in the house. Hook 'em in the mouth. One of my favorite channels on YouTube. Y'all check him out for sure. What I am doing is dragging some baits. I'm on Lake Wiley, and I've got brim and perch out. Coming through a river channel right now. Wind's kind of blowing out of the northwest, and just working my way down the lake. Kind of came up there and reset earlier. Made a little drag. Like I said, I caught channel catfish and some small ones, and caught a 13-pounder on camera live, which is on Facebook, and you can see that if you go over there and check it out. I basically repositioned, and I'm going to drag here for a little bit and just see what happens. It's a pretty calm day now that the rain is gone. The wind has tapered back down. I've got a drift sock out, a small one, and I've got the boat just kind of dragging it where I want to. I'm coming through a river channel. Let me show you what I'm doing. How about that? We all like some live tutorials here. Let's get around. Boom. There we go. All right, so there's my sonar. I got my map on this side, obviously. Got this over here. In case you guys are wondering, this is bait. It's a school of bait, probably very small thread fin, probably this year's hatch. It's very dense, very thick, and that's probably what that is. There's some predator fish underneath there, probably some bass or some perch. I actually caught a bass earlier. If you go to the website, Melhorn Fishing, there's a link to Instagram, and I've got a picture of the bass that I caught. I did not keep it for bait. Probably would have if I would have been fishing for a few days, because it was a lot of bait, but I didn't. We can do that legally in North Carolina. You can't do it in South Carolina. That one got to go free. So anyway, where were we? Oh, yeah, probably some more predator fish here underneath. Some predator fish on top. But yeah, that's a school of most likely threadfin, juvenile threadfin that were most likely hatched this year. Usually when they're that tight and that small. That's what you're looking at. You can kind of see the water depth there staged in. Not a whole lot on the bottom. We are in the river channel, as you can tell. That's what this is. This is the river channel coming right through here. These are the ledges, edges, whatever you want to call them. This is where it gets steep, going from the deep water up into the flat. This is pretty much the flat through here. It's all kind of pretty much a basic water depth within 4 or 5 feet. That's just the old, if you ever ride down the road and see a creek or go across a bridge, across a creek, you'll see a bunch of that flat swampy area. That's what that used to be before they dammed up the river and created the lake eons and decades ago. So, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm just making, the wind's kind of carrying me in that direction. I'm going to come up this ledge, and when I get on here, I'm going to use my trolling motor to run this flat down through here, because right now the wind will carry me right into that bank. I'm going to try going right up here and going down that flat. So that's kind of what I got going on. Hook 'em in the mouth says I got an awesome depth finder. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Good Lord bless me to be able to get one. I saved my money for a long time, and it's funny, it sat there in the bank account for a long time, but I never could pull the trigger. And I finally came across a really good deal. A buddy of mine that owns, at the time it was Lake Wiley Bait and Tackle, now it's Hunt Fish Paddle in Lake Wiley. Came across a really good bargain on some people who were getting rid of these, and it's the HGS 10. It's got the size scan and structure scan, which I can show you real quick, just in case you're interested. I don't know if I got the structure scan. Let me get that turned on. I don't run structure scan all the time. There's a lot of times I don't use it. This one's actually got a bad, there we go. Is it on? Yeah, there we go. It's running now. Okay. But you can actually, one of the things I think that is cool about this, you can do it on all of them, is you can do the split screen, and it gives you all of your information up on the screen at one time. You've got the down scan here, and you've got the side scan here looking outside. This little line is where I just turned it on. That's why it's got that little blip. But yeah, you can pull all that stuff out there and get it all up there on the screen at one time. I don't always use it because sometimes coming out through here it really doesn't do me any good. Sometimes I'll come across something and I'm going, oh, is that bait fish or is that a brush pile? And it will really tell you in a hurry. Sometimes it can be a little confusing as to which is which. So anyway, that's what's going on. I'll show you how different the stuff looks on it real quick. It gets off the screen. That's the bait that was here. Same thing here with this bait here. Shows it off a little bit different. It takes a little bit of time to get used to what you're seeing, what you're looking at, but it's a very effective tool. One thing to note, people, talking about everything changing, we're getting here into late summer, into the fall, and I'm seeing gulls on the lake. That's right, we don't have gulls that stay here all summer. Occasionally there'll be 1 or 2 that hang out, but I've got 4 or 5 gulls around already. Now, I've heard a couple of things. One, I've heard they migrate down from the north when it gets cold up there, and it's kind of a migratory thing. I've also heard that when the hurricanes are coming, they come inland. Don't know how much truth there is to any of that, but we do have a hurricane coming, and that's the topic of my blog, which I'm probably going to put up tomorrow, just talking about fishing ahead of the storm. And most of the time, like right now, we're fishing ahead of the storm, but it's a good ways out. We're really not going to see any effect from it. Some of the guys down in Florida, it's a different story. Hook 'em in the mouth, if you're still on, down in Jacksonville, that's where he fishes at. And man, we're praying for you, dude. I hope you stay safe down there. I hope all you guys I know down there, especially on the East Coast, there's a bunch of you down on the East Coast that I hope that thing stays off. Just praying for you. We seen what happened to our friends out in Texas, and they're going to be recovering for a long time. And we're praying for them, and hopefully this storm weakens. And I think it's going to. I made that. If you follow me on Facebook, I made my weather prediction yesterday that if it hits Florida, it'll be a Cat 3. If it hits the Carolinas, it'll be a Cat 2, a strong Cat 2, maybe a 3. So I think it's going to weaken significantly. I think the land is going to have an effect on it. I think Cuba's going to have an effect on it. I think as it gets close to Florida, that's going to have an effect. I think some shear is going to play in. And by the way, folks, okay, I am an amateur armchair meteorologist, okay? I'm just guessing. So, and the reason I say this, I actually had 10 or 12 people message me today that had family reunions, cruises, there was a honeymoon all down in that area asking me whether they should go or not. So I am not a professional meteorologist. But I will tell you, if you have a cruise going out of Florida in the next few days or out of Charleston, it's going to get canceled, okay? If your cruise line is not going to cancel it, they're probably challenging to see if you blink on it and cancel it first, because I think there's some way you get charged for it still. But anyway, I think the East Coast, it's up in there. What's going to happen? It's definitely going to be rainy. It's definitely going to be windy. West Coast is going to be fine. All you guys on the West Coast, the Panhandle, the guys I fished with a few weeks ago down there, all y'all going to be fine. Hopefully the thing weakens. It's a crazy storm. Should be getting, well, the 5 o'clock update should be up. I haven't looked at them. I've been out here fishing and kind of wrapped up in this, and haven't had a chance to look at them. So we'll see what's happening with that storm. Hopefully it stays off. I think it's going to hit somewhere, though, I think it's going to be somewhere between upper Florida and the Carolinas. It's going to take really some good steering currents to get it back offshore, but hopefully it weakens, and hopefully it's not a super duper rain event. So we'll see what happens with all that. But the thing I was writing on the blog and talking about here is in these conditions leading up to these storms, it can be good fishing, especially when you start to get that pressure drop. This is an amazingly low pressure storm. It may go below 900 millibars, which is crazy, and that's just crazy low pressure, but that pressure is going to be falling out ahead of it, and that can be good fishing. It can also be good fishing after it clears out and goes. I've heard that from saltwater guys. I'm not a big saltwater fisherman. Hook 'em in the mouth kayak fishing can tell us more about that, because he's down there in some saltwater, around some saltwater. But I've heard the fishing like 2 days, couple days after a storm is phenomenal. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But my point is, coming up with these storms, it's not just hurricanes, it's really any low pressure that comes moving in. Ahead of it, you can get into some good fishing, and it's a good reason to keep an eye on the weather. If you look at my phone, it's one of the things I write about in the blog, is there's probably, I don't know, I've got about as many weather apps as Jim Cantori does. I've got 2 or 3 for radar, I've got them for forecasts, I've got them for tides, wave height, I've got them for crap I don't even use them for half the time. And it's good to have those things, in all seriousness, guys, especially if you're, out here fishing aggressively a lot and trying to sometimes push it when you shouldn't be out here, around storms and that kind of stuff. Not necessarily big tropical storms, but just thunderstorms and that kind of thing. Keep an eye on it. Use the lightning app to find out where the lightning's at, which storms have lightning in them, and you're seeing stuff develop. We lost 2 guys from here in town, right where I'm from, here in Gaston County, last weekend. And they were from here, and they went out in the ocean, and their boat, they went out in some tough conditions, probably shouldn't have been out in, but they found their boat capsized a few days later, and they haven't been found. So, whether that would have made a difference or not, I don't know, but, have those apps. That's the one great thing about technology, is there's a lot of stuff we can learn and be up to date. It's not like we have to guess like we did, years ago. So anyway, that's my 2-bit advice. Let me give you a quick tour of the boat, show you what's going on. I hadn't caught a fish. I'm up almost out of the river channel. Let me get this back here into this. I'll give you an update. I know a bunch of new people have jumped in to the feed. I'll tell you who I am. If you don't know me, my name's Dieter Melhorn. I'm a lunatic catfish guy. Fish for other stuff too, stripers, and I do some saltwater fishing, but I do a lot of catfish stuff. So anyway, I've got a YouTube channel, I've got a Facebook page, and it's kind of what's going on. So I'm fishing today on Lake Wylie. I sat around the house for a long time today, doing some editing, waiting for the rain to quit. Rain was looking like it was going to let up. I got out here toward the end of it when it wasn't pouring too bad, and I'm out here dragging some baits around. I'll give you a quick tour of the boat, show you what's going on here. What I've got rods out on this side. Got rods out on this side. You can see the planer boards. That's those little yellow things up there. Those are out. Got them out on this side. I got the orange ones on this side. These planer boards are for dummies. It's so you know which side is which. They make them different colors. Isn't that sweet? Inevitably, though, you'll put one out backwards sooner or later if you use them enough. But anyway, I've got some monster rod holders is what I'm using now. I finally got this new configuration. Got them on that side. Got them on that side. The reason I went with these, since I'm doing more and more the planer boards, is getting these rods stacked in here. I'm not a big rod rack guy, having a rod rack across the back of the boat. Nothing wrong with them. For some people that works great, but for me, I like having access to everything on at the back of the boat. As you can see out there, I've got a drift sock out. You have to deal with that around the back of the boat here in this area. I've got anchors that are stowed back here. I've got more drift socks back here. So it helps me to have access to all that. And if I've got a rod rack right here that spans across the back, it also has to be designed to get into these hatches. I've got batteries and access back here. I've got a live well here that's got bait in it. Bam, not much bait. Now I've got storage over on this side. So that's why I like fishing with my stuff. Oh, what do we have here? What do we have here? Oh. Got a fish. Y'all bear with me. Let me reel this thing in. I'm going to put you right there. Hopefully you can see me. Kabam. He's going off to the side. Like I said, I've got 6 rods out, 4 on planer boards. 2 straight out the back. This was one of the ones straight out the back. In case you're wondering, Abu Garcia 6500 reels. And on these, I've got 30-pound Andy monofilament on. This is the green version. I have been running 20-pound forever and upgraded to 30 when I started using the planer boards just to give me a little better access. This looks like a blue catfish, and I got another rod going off. The 30-pound gives a little better bite on the clip and works out a little bit better. Popped him off. Dang. Popped him off trying to lift him in the boat. Let's see if you can see him going down. He's already went down. Stand by. The good news is we got another one. So hang on, let me get this bait back in the water. There's the slime, just to prove it. Got a rattle on that one. There we go. Let me get this back in the water. Get that one too. Right there and let it drop. Got that one going. You can see it's up on top of the water. Should be a fish on there. Sometimes when we go cowboy and try to lift them in without a net, that happens. It wasn't a big fish. It was probably about 6 or 7 pounds, but I wasn't hooked really deep. So let me see what this one's got on it. Bear with me. Yes, we all hooked up again. Again, another small fish, nothing huge. If you're wondering about the rods, Big Cat Fever 7'6", medium, what are they called? Medium heavy. I got the foam handles on them. I like foam handles, not cork handles. Some people like them. And Abu Garcia 6500 reel with a power handle. By the way, folks, all you novice fishermen out there, new people, playing around like I'm doing right now is how you lose fish, like I did just a minute ago. So I don't advise doing it. All right, let's get back on that. Let me get down here on my knees and talk to you for a second. Never put out this much line. It takes forever to reel it in. It's an old guide fishing trick. Take people on a guide trip and you know you're going to catch small fish, put out a lot of line. Told you, it's a freak show. Oh, he's whisker hooked. He's barely. I'm going to show him to you because when I try to get him in, he's probably going to fall off. He is whisker hooked, barely hooked. All right, I'm going to try lifting him. He may or may not make it in. Got him. Easy trigger. Bam. That fish was barely hooked. Right through the whisker. Channel cat. Nothing major. Don't they look huge when you hold them like that? Nice little channel cat. I've caught a bunch of them today. Easy. Easy. It's a little channel. If we hooked them in the mouth, that wouldn't happen. That's right. That's why you hook them in the mouth. 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 What do we do with them? What do we do with them? We release them. Bam. All right. It's a freak show, baby. It's a freak show. Figuring out what's going on. Hang on. Let me get this rod back out. I may have another fish on. Stay right there. Man's got to have clean hands when he goes home to the ladies. You guys that don't know, we're drifting with a Santee rig. It's got a sinker, a little drift weight on it. It's basically a piece of shoelace that's got buckshot in it. It's a weight. It's got a snap swivel on it. A couple of different ways you can do that. It's got a piece of leader. Cork floats the bait up off the bottom. Then you got a circle hook. That's why you don't see me getting in a real hurry to go set the hook, because it kind of takes care of itself. Now let's get this one back in the water. That where it needs to be. Like a boss. I got water on my screen. Oh, that's better. Like a boss. It's a great thing about live stuff. Even little, oh, what do we have here? Where have we seen this before? Where have we seen that before? Where have we seen this before? Oh, stand by. Let's see if he's on there. Oh. Oh, like a boss. Got there. Bam. This is truly cool, in all honesty, in all seriousness, that I'm actually catching this many fish. If you've ever watched any of my live feeds, I have gone an hour and a half jacking my jaws and rambling and never caught a fish. It's a little more entertaining when I'm actually catching some fish. Let me catch this, hang on. Down here on my knees where I can talk to you. So, in my old videos when I would put them up, and some of the stuff on Facebook, people would always say, oh, that's the same fish, you're just turning him a different way. The one thing about doing this stuff live, when you see me throw, see if he's hooked good. Oh, he's whisker hooked too. Oh, he's not hooked in the mouth. He is not hooked in the mouth. Oh, I'm gonna show him to you just so you see him. Look at there, that is a very light whisker hook. Oh. That's what happens when you don't hook him in the mouth. I'm gonna try lifting him. He popped off, but guess what? He popped off right there. Oh. See, you gotta hook them in the mouth. You don't have these problems. If you hook them in the mouth, this doesn't happen. Hook them in the mouth kayak fishing. He's with me today. That's the reason I'm getting these fish in the boat. Look at there. Oh, yeah. Don't hook me in the mouth. Don't let that man in Jacksonville hook me in the mouth. Don't let him hook me in the mouth. It'll hurt. He hooks him in the mouth all the time. And they're painful. All my friends say, don't hook him in the mouth. It's a freak show. At least alive, baby. Boom. It's a freak show. Hello, bass fishermen. Bass fishermen. Oh, God. I was hoping maybe you guys could learn something today. One thing you're going to learn is not to let your children watch this, because they'll start acting like this in class, and it's over. You'll be getting them phone calls. All right, the lunacy What I got? 3 fish? 3 fish? Hang on, let me click these off. Up, up, up. I'm hitting buttons I ain't supposed to hit. Let me click 3 here. Kick the clicker. 2, 3. Bam! Thank you, Lord. That was cool. Anyway, I gotta get her. Wait. See what's going on. Make sure there wasn't another fit. Is that another rod going off? Let me get this one rod back in the water. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. I know somebody said I love this stream. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like this stream too because I'm actually catching some fish. I've got to kill one. Show you the bait we're using. Brim, bluegill, whatever you want to call them. Just for, just so that I don't violate any terms of services, contracts, agreements with YouTube. I'm not going to kill this thing live on camera. But just so you know what's happening, I'm filleting this thing right now. And magically, actually that one's on a rattle. I'll show you these rattles in just a second. Bear with me. Put rattles on some of these drift rigs. They make a little noise. They make a little shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your booty. They make a little shake, shake, shake. That's what happens. Alright, bear with me here. Let me get this in the water. No, ma'am, I'm okay. I don't need a doctor. Not yet, anyway. I'm fine, thank you. Alright, I'm back. Where was I? Getting baits in the water. Woo! Like a boss. Is there a fish on my perch rod? No. Alright. Let me get back over here to some calmness. And some... Let's share some intimacy with my YouTube friends. Isn't that awesome? That was awesome. That was awesome. That really was. All jokes aside and goofiness. That was exciting. We caught some fish in a flurry. Don't really know what happened. I'll show you where I was at. I was somewhere back in here. Let me get this working there. There we go. And I was already up on the flat. So there's no real rhyme or reason as to why it wasn't like there was a structure oriented. I think I just came through some fish is what happened. Let me click these in gear real quick. Stay right there. That one needs to go more. And what I do here, for any of you guys learning to drift or drag, let me just say this is a very good point because I've had some people mention this that have messaged me. I say kick them in gear. What I do is when I put the lines out, I let line run out. I try to stagger them like 125, 175 if I'm fishing 6 rods. Because some people had asked me, I think they were dragging bait straight under the boat. Some people do that. You can catch fish that way. I just prefer to have the baits out away from the boat a little bit further. So usually the line's going straight out the boat. When I cast them out, I'll let line run out. You can use a counter. Ooh. Show you something on Sonar. A bunch of really cool stuff. Bunch of predator fish. Probably, most likely, white perch. They're awful big for white perch. They've got a ball of bait pinned down on the bottom, and they're up above it. Let me see something here. Let me see if I can jig anything up with this perch rod. Hang on a second. Sometimes on these, I know my butt's sexy, but y'all need to look at my face when I'm talking, okay? No bait on my perch rod. Stand by. In case you're wondering, I keep one of these little double hook rigs on the boat. I call it a perch rod. It's basically got a weight on the bottom. It's got 2 little double hooks hanging off of it. That's what I keep in the water for perch. Sometimes when you get around a bait school like that and I think I see them and they won't bite, what I'll do is I'll drop it down and just do some lifting with it. Jig it a little bit, pop it. Sometimes it will entice a bite out of them. They just sense the vibration and stuff in the water and may come over and actually take a look at it. So anyway, we'll see what happens if that loads up. The cutting gear. All right. So that's where we're at. Sorry about that noise. Every time I move this arm that holds my camera, it makes that horrible squeaking sound. So I apologize. Let me show you. This has got to be perch. You see that? That looks like a school of perch. An active perch too, feeding. Let me see if I can get some of these to bite. This is what I've got on there is just pieces of cut bait. It's just little pieces of actually perch. These suckers are carnivorous. They'll eat their own. You can use brim. You can use red worms. The best thing is to use minnows. Minnows will catch them quicker than anything. I've just got a hit, and I'm gonna see if I lost it. Lost the bait. Yeah, I lost one of the baits, but I'll show you. Just take a little piece of cut bait like that, just a little bitty thing, big as your pinky nail, and they love it. Once they get schooled up, I think I got out of them. You can catch 2 at a time doing this. When they're really frenzied up, if you're fishing with gold hooks, you can drop down gold hooks and just catch them on the hooks. You can also use sabiki rigs, the multi-hook sabiki rigs to catch them. The only problem with sabiki rigs is if you get onto a lot of them, you really got to stay on the sabiki rigs because they'll rat it up into a big bird's nest. So I kind of rolled off of the ones I had. I'm going to let it sit, float. We'll listen for it to bob. I'll come back up here and get the boat repositioned. Now what I'm doing, I'll give you, as long as we're sitting here talking, as long as we're being intimate, folks, I'll go ahead and tell you some more secrets that you want to hear about dragging for catfish. Part of what I do, the wind, I'm going to show you. If I leave the boat the way it is, that wind's going to blow me straight into that bank. So what I'll use is the trolling motor up here is in the water, okay? And I've got it pointed back this way. What that will do is cause me to kind of crab. The boat will go down through at a little bit of an angle, but I'll basically go right down through here. So it's a great way. It's a technique. It takes some work. It's not something you're going to master right away. It takes some trial and error. It's a magic combination of the right size drift sock, right size trolling motor, wind going the right way to learn how to do this stuff. You just got to get out and do it is what it comes down to. Play around with it. And the bad thing is every boat's different. Depending on how your boat sits in the water affects the way you're able to drift and troll and use drift socks and a trolling motor to get somewhere. So I hope that makes some sense to you. There's not really a set technique. My boat's the Carolina Skiff DLV, sits on top of the water. It's got a lot of flotation in it, and it's very high in the water, and it's like a bobber out here. I mean, you got to learn how to fish this boat. I've got friends that have deep V boats that sit a lot deeper in the water. They cut through the water totally different. John boats, a whole different animal. It sits on top of the water, but it's also very light. So you kind of have to play around with it to see what works for you. But I'm going to try to do some more videos on it to show a little bit more. I try to show a little bit every time. That's what I try to do in all these videos is instead of doing, what do we have here? What? Where have we seen that before? That rod going. There's a little fish on there. We'll see if it folds it over. I try to show a little bit in every video on how to do stuff. So instead of going, this is how we drift for catfish, because there's so many variables in doing it in so many different scenarios and so many different ways. The great thing, I've wanted to sit down and do it, at home with the map, but sometimes just showing you guys right here when I'm doing something on the sonar and the mapping stuff, what's going on. It just seems to help. So another thing is you got to have, this is the remote for the trolling motor. You got to have one of these. You can do it with a foot pedal. Trust me, when I started, I had the foot pedal back here in my hand and would like turn it and adjust the knob on it. And doing it with your foot's a pain in the butt. Yeah, if you're going to get a trolling motor at some point, get you one of these. You can drift without one, but you know, understand that you're pretty much going to be set to straight line drifting, and just, I mean, it's truly drifting. This is kind of troll drifting a little bit here. This is you're drifting, but you're also trolling. Trolling meaning that you're using a motor, so this makes it a lot easier. A lot of stuff you can do with these. You can lock it on a straight course. You can set the speed, a lot of different things. This just makes life a whole lot easier on what's going on. So, anybody new that's tuned in, I know some people have jumped in and out of here, and I appreciate you watching. First of all, everybody, thanks for watching. Excuse me. I am fishing on Lake Wiley. I'm actually in South Carolina now. I think when we started this, I was in North Carolina, but the river channel is the dividing line on most of the lake, but not all of the lake. So if you ever think about coming to Wiley and you don't have $300 extra to throw away, you're better off buying a license for both states, because part of the lake is the river channel, the north end. Around the South Fork it's not, and where it makes the turn down here it's not either. So anyway, that's just a little advice for you. But that's where I'm at, fishing for catfish. Oh, there's a big rod bend behind me. Bear with me. Bam! That's what we got here. Hook 'em in the mouth! Kayak fishing. Y'all check him out. Seriously. Hook 'em in the mouth I'm not as crazy as he is. I think he's crazier now. I don't know. Now after watching, he may reevaluate how crazy he is. He's fun to watch, is what it comes down to. Charles Kramer in the house. That's right. Great guy. Got a good show. Enjoy watching it. But he's kind of cursed me today a little bit, because I've had like 3 fish that were not hooked in the mouth. This one better be hooked in the mouth, or I'm going to have to block him or something. He's cursed me. These are all in the planer boards. This is going to be a mess. Let's see what we got. Alright. Here's my boga grip. I'm going to boga grip this one. Then I'm going to be untangling lines for about 20 minutes. Bear with me. Let me get him in. See if he's hooked in the mouth. Good hook set. Alright, let's see what we got here. Bear with me, folks. Alright, fish is in a boat. I'm going to see if I can save a tangle here. Bear with me. Folks, that is advanced line detangling at its best. I don't know that I got them all untangled, but I got one untangled. I had the fish on it. And rattle. I'll tell you about the rattles in a minute, like I told you I was going to tell you earlier, but I didn't tell you. So bear with me. Let's look at this fish, and let's play a little game. I've got a game we can play. It's a game everyone loves to play. It's called Hear that? Guess the weight. Boom. All right, folks, guess the weight. Give you a good look at the total length of it. There we go. Good look at the mouth and the head. There we go. All right. Fish is released alive, as all fish should be. Actually, he's a little bit. I'll give you a clue. I'll give you a clue. He's on the upper end of what I would eat. I probably wouldn't eat him. I'd let him go. A little clue. It's a little clue on how much he weighed. Thanks. Somebody's already nailed it. Somebody nailed it right away. Mark nailed it. 8 pounds. There you go. Good call. Good call. It's right at 8 pounds. So, yeah, I usually around 6, 7 is about as big as I keep. Nothing wrong with keeping that size, but let the trophies go. The big ones, the teeners and bigger, I let those go. Let me see what kind of mess I've got here. Oh, wait. Bam! Somebody asked what gripper I have. It's a Boga grip. It's the 30-pound version. If you go to DieterMelhornFishing.com and go to the gear section, there's a link to buy this grip. So it's not for me, just a total disclosure. Totally be a pokey pig. Total disclosure. It's an Amazon link that you can buy these grips, and about every dadgum thing I got on the boat, you can buy on those links on DieterMelhornFishing.com. So, including the catfish gear. By the way, catfish gear is not mine. Everybody sees me in this and the shirts and stuff. That is not mine. If you want to buy this stuff, it's really cool stuff. DieterMelhornFishing.com. There's a link on the front page as soon as you go to it, and you can link in there and you can buy all the catfish gear. They got hats. This one's cool. You get to see my beautiful hair here. It's got like a little camo pattern to it. Isn't that neat? Isn't that neat? It's cool. It's got a little American flag. America! Nothing says America like a catfish boat. So, anyway, where was we? Oh, we was detangling the mess. If you folks will be patient, this will give you a chance. Go get you some popcorn. It's time for dinner. Oh, you guys probably should be getting dinner ready. Anyway, go pee, grab a cold beer, and give me 2 minutes to detangle this mess I got, and I'm going to stay on live so you can watch me do it. I'm not going to cuss while I do it, so stay right there. Don't move. The Elvis stance is the most important part. See what we got here. Planer. Alright, got lucky on that. For those of you that don't know, these are planer boards. Part of what's out there. Okay, let's see what we got there. Alright, let that planer board run out. Bait's still good on that one. We'll put that bait back out. And we need to check that one. So, up. Can't tell if that's a fish or a planer board. Ah, I saw a head shake. We got a fish on. Everybody quit peeing. Grab your beer. Run back to the couch. It's a freak show. By the way, if you just tuned into this channel, it's not always this entertaining. It's really interesting when I'm not catching fish, how I jack my jaws for an hour and a half. At least we have some fish here to pass the time. You're not going to see any world records. You're not going to see any marlin. You're just going to see an old southern guy catch some catfish. Oh, I've got some line swell. Oh, it isn't a planer board. Oh, I hope he's hooked in the mouth. Oh, come on, Mr. Cramer. Holler at your boy. Oh, got line swell. What's up with that? Bam, in the boat. We got a mess. Hook him in the mouth. Holler at your boy. Don't let hook him in the mouth catch me. Don't let hook him in the mouth catch me. He makes my lips sore. Look at my lip. Look at that lip. My God, that's what he did to my lip. Look at my lip. He's terrible. They don't like hooking him in the mouth here. See him. More of a mess. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Part of this mess happens when you're not watching your rods all the time. I'm going to have to cut this line. If you don't have any of these boys, buy you some of these. I'll tell you about them in a second. Make sure we got everything. That's undone. Okay, that's out of the way. That's clear. I just noticed somebody said he's mad. Were you talking about the fish or are you talking about me? If you're talking about that fish is perfectly fine. Me, on the other hand, these are my greatest little toy that I've ever had. Ceramic cutters. Oh boy, I don't know how I made it this long without them. All right. I'm gonna show you the super secret knot that I use. All right, I'm gonna quit biting stuff now that I have these ceramic cutters. I can cut a line through that in the boat floor, not in the water. Yeah. What I do with this knot, okay? So I go through the eye. That makes 6 or 7 loops around. Then I come back through the loop and then back through that one. Yeah, it's the improved clinch knot. It's no big deal. I just wanted to get y'all to pay attention for a minute. Listen to me. Nobody listens to me. I feel like my wife's on this thing. Honey, are you tuned in? Anyway, my little ceramic cutters. I'll tell you about these things. They're really cool. They got little bitty teethies on them. Can you see them? They look like kid scissors. These are not kid scissors. Let me get this back in the water. See if this bait's still good. Yeah, it tastes fine. Let me get this in the water. Bear with me. Bear with me. What is that doing? That to there. What's out where? That's in gear. Is it in gear? That board's flipped. Plopped loose. Alright. Sorry, I got to reset a board. What's happening here, folks, is in this tangled mess, a couple of my boards got popped loose. So I'm having to reconfigure, and also keep my boat course going here. While I'm doing this, I'll go ahead and give you guys a little update. There's a lot of new people probably have joined in, and I am dragging on Lake Wiley. Well, catfish, I didn't click that one off. That was number 10. I'm dragging 6 rods, Santee rigs. 4 of them are on planer boards. I'm using big cat fever rods, 7 foot 6 inch medium heavy. And I got foam handles. I'm a foam handle kind of guy. Mainly because on a rainy day like today, it's the day I clean my foam handles. I'm seriously, guys. These big cat fever rods, foam handles. When it rains, go fishing. You can get all the crap off of them very easily. So, but anyway, got these rods, and if you'll notice, it's still daylight, and you can still see these rods really good. But when it gets dark, they're hard to see. And I have a fantasy. I woke up the other night with this fantasy that they made a big cat fever rod in white. I'm dreaming that. I'm still dreaming that. It's gonna happen. Someday. Anyway, that's what's going on. Monofilament line. This is 30-pound Andy. I put on a little bit heavier because I'm running planer boards. These are planer boards. These are this is an okay planer board. This is the best one in the world because it's got my name on it. Anyway, what you do is put these on here. If you haven't done that, I've got some videos on this. It's got this little curly Q thing. And I know a bunch of you know how to do this stuff, but I'm telling you anyway, just for the heck of it. You put them on like this. Clip always toward the rod. What's that noise? That wasn't thunder, it was a motorcycle. Sorry. Put that out, let that plane out. Now what you saw me do right there was highly technical. I was casting a planer board. You don't have to do that, seriously folks. What these things do for people that don't know, you put your rod straight out the back of the boat, they stay straight out the back of the boat. The planer board, because of this blade right here, okay, this floats on top of the water, this blade is what's in the water. Your lines go through this. When it pulls on it, it causes that thing to turn. It's just like putting your hand out the window going down the road. It goes away from the boat. So straight out the boat, when that line gets tight, boom, it swims out. What that does is, it gives you a greater spread that you're covering when you're drifting. So that's the whole point using it, just for you guys that don't know. And I know some of this stuff, some of you wondering, everybody knows that. There's a lot of people that don't know. And it's one thing I try not to do. This has been a real education for me in doing this stuff. What people know and what they don't know. And I try to say even some of the most simple stuff because there's stuff I just take for granted that people know. And that's really why I'm doing this, is to educate people and help them learn how to catch fish and more fish and be good stewards of the resource. So it's all part of it. Let me get these other ones in the water. I'll come back over here and act like a fool. Just bear with me. Bye. Got me gear. Now, part of the trick of using planer boards, everybody, and I want to go fish with Zach Roy sometime because I know he uses them, and I know some of my buddies out on the Tennessee River use them. I want to go fish with these guys. Everybody's got their own little way of putting these things out, and there's you kind of figure out what works for you and what works best. Some people put the furthest board out first and work all the way around the boat. Some people start in the middle and work out. It just kind of depends on how you're fishing them, how many you're putting out. The only reason to do any casting with them is to start them out a little bit further away from the boat. You do not have to cast these things. They will plane out on their own. I was going to show you real quick the reason I switched over to these monster rod holders is because of that angle right there. You can see, as subtle as it is, I can use that crossbar right there to tilt that rod up at a steeper angle. You can see it's a lot higher. That allows that further planer board, the lines to clear this rod right here. You run this one this way. Now if I wanted to, let me click this in gear. Say I was downlining, had some fish straight under the boat, I could actually put that rod straight out like that and fish another one. I could actually fish two in this rod holder. So a little something that a lot of people don't realize. I don't even know if Steve Douglas knew that. I think I taught him something. Steve Douglas fishes so much he knows everything about them. But anyway, that was kind of the reason I like those things, and that's why I switched over to them. Let me get this rod in the water. I got one still to go straight out the back of the boat. Got to put that weight back on it. Oh, it's been a great day, folks. It's been a great day as far as fishing just live. Unreal fishing. I'm thankful. Thank you, Lord, for not making me look like a fool again. I know, I make myself look like a fool. But I'm actually catching some fish. Even though they're little ones, it's a good time to educate people and teach people some stuff. People believe you a lot better when you actually catch fish instead of talk about it. Let's see here. Get that off of there. Go. That one's out. If you notice, I casted that line out. It's out the back of the boat. I'm letting some line go off is what I'm doing. Letting it get out, probably 100 feet behind the boat. And that way it's a good distance back. No real worry about interference from the boat. You know, fish getting freaked out. Cowboy. Might click it in gear early. Make sure all my rods are in gear. That looks good. So anyway, I was going to tell you about these things, these little kid scissors. I did not steal these from my child. I did not go to a school. They are actually made by Rig Wrap, believe it or not. The same people who make these containers. And they were little ceramic things. I know you can't see that, but listen to that noise. Oh, they're actually braid cutters. They're made for cutting braided line. Part of the reason I got them was because I actually use braid on the sabiki rigs, sabiki rods that I use. I don't use braid on these rods, but I use them on the other ones. And somebody had seen me sawing away trying to cut some line or use my fingernail clippers to cut it, and it didn't work. And they said, you need to get some of these braided cutters. So that's what I got. So there's a little name on them. You can, there's a link on my website. Everything's on my website. And the reason I did that was the website I just came up with recently, because so many people message me and ask me about stuff, you know, where can I get this, where can I get that? And instead of having to retype it every time, pretty much everything I fish with is on DieterMelhornFishing.com in the gear section. So you can pretty much, all this stuff's on there somewhere that we can go look at it, click on the links, go look on the website, and see what all, because all these people, Catfish included, make a bunch of different stuff besides what I use. So same thing with the rod holders. Monster Rod Holders has a bunch of different rods, or rod holders. So we're just hoping that Big Cat Fever has a white rod soon. So now fingers, hoping for a white one for night fishing next year. You got time. Anyway, no ma'am, I'm okay. It's okay. Don't need a doctor. No, I'm fine. Shh, keep it down. I'm waking up the children. Waking up the children. The other thing I want to see Big Cat Fever come out with, heads up if anybody is out there listening from Big Cat Fever, I want to see them come out with a striper rod, white one, by next spring, because I want one for striper season. If you've watched any of my striper videos, we can catch the hound out of some stripers in the springtime. Not the great old big ones like Tennessee, because I would use these, if I was fishing in Tennessee for the big stripers, I'd be using these bigger Big Cat Fever rods. But I want some lighter, whippier ones, and I want them long. And I want them with the long handles. The other striper rods that I used had a very short handle on the back of them. And I'm lazy. I want leverage of having a big handle at the back. So anyway, Big Cat Fever, if you're out there, white catfish rods and some striper rods by next spring. It's like talking to Santa Claus. If you talk enough, maybe Santa will hear you. So anyway. Has anybody learned anything today? Except that I'm insane? Let me check this rod. While I'm checking this, I'm going to sit down and just tell everybody. My name's Dieter Melhorn if you're new to this channel. If you're new, thanks for joining. Thanks for chiming in. Thanks for coming and watching. I'm just an old fisherman. I'm not a guide or anything like that. I've just got a fishing channel. I do some stuff on Facebook. And I got some stuff on Instagram. I can't figure out Snapchat, so I'm on there, but I don't know how to do it, so don't look for me on there. Don't Snapchat me, because I can't even figure out. I got some guys that Snapchat me, and I don't even know it. I have to wait till my 10-year-old gets home to figure out how to look at them. See, there's a good use. I'm going to show you right now. This is why I like these rod holders. Right there, I can put that rod down flat like that. So, it's perfect. Sorry. I just love it when I find something that works, and I show the world. So, anyway. Thought I had a fish. That would have been really cool TV. But yeah, I'm just a fishing dude. You can see me on DieterMelhornFishing.com. I got links to all my stuff on there. And I do this because I like it. I've got a real job. I definitely don't make no money doing this. And yeah, I just do this and try to entertain people. Now, I really didn't get into this to entertain people. I actually started doing the channel to try to educate people and teach people how to some different techniques for fish and just catching catfish, because that's what I fish for a lot. I fish for stripers, and I do some saltwater stuff for sharks and redfish and flounder. I'm not good at saltwater. I'm not good at it. So, but that's why I do it, and because I believe that the more educated anglers are, the better stewards of the resource they'll do. So, anyway, if you're wondering what's written on my hand, I got to give a shout out to somebody. Came across this kid. I can't remember. I think Presley. Anyway, if you wonder what was on my hand, you got to check this kid's channel out. He's a young kid. Nicholas Lyon is his name. I'm gonna show it to you because it's hard to remember all this stuff. But he's got a brand new channel, and he got some stuff. He puts this video up called "I Got Sponsored." I really got sponsored, and he got some stuff in the mail. And the kid could not be more grateful. He's a young kid, just got a channel started. He's doing some stuff, and I really liked him. He's fun to watch because I got a 10-year-old, and my 10-year-old got a kick out of watching him. And the kid was very grateful, which was really cool. Anyway, I'll show you. I could have written it on a piece of paper. I will probably put a link to it down below to his page or to his YouTube channel. Here he is, Nicholas Lyon, CC Experience. There he is. Nicholas Lyon, CC Experience. Check his channel out. Put some comments in his comment section on one of his videos, especially his sponsored video. That's his cool one. And tell him Dieter Melhorn Fishing sent you over there. I like his stuff. I'll be working for him when I'm retired, probably, is what's going to end up happening. Oh, I got to show you this. Look at that. Oh, storming all day. Rainy, nasty. And look what the good Lord gave us at supper time. Got a little sunset action going on. It's been a good day. I've had a pretty good day. Who said that? Who said that? Any of you old outdoor show people? He'd end his show with, I had a pretty good day. Well, I've had a pretty good day. So, this has been really a good day. How many fish am I up to? 11 fish, and I got out here at 4:30, 5 o'clock, somewhere like that. Oh wait, we're gonna have a pretty shot here. Watch this boat go flying sunset. Watch it. This is just like a Bill Dance intro. Imagine it in slow motion. Wow, wasn't that beautiful? Anyway, it's been a good day. We do have a I think I tagged this video fishing ahead of the storm. We're really a long way ahead of the storm, though. Actually, I'll show you something in the distance. This is supposed to be the back end of what was left of the depression that turned into a front and blah 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 of Harvey, and that is it actually going off in the distance. I watched it on radar, and you can see the line of the clouds and the storm that I was in earlier. Is the reason I have on all the rain gear that I have on, and that's where the wind and everything came from earlier. But that's the backside of it, and it is heading off into the Atlantic. Gone. Left a lot of destruction in its path, but yeah, there's another one coming. So hook them in the mouth down there in Florida. Praying for you, pal. I hope it stays away from you. There's a lot of other people down there in Florida that tune in and watch that I hear from. Praying that thing skirts the coast and scoots on out, or at least when it makes landfall, loses some of the power. And I think it's going to lose power. It's not going to be a Cat 5. Even if it hit Florida Saturday, it's not going to be a Cat 5. So it's going to lose power. Hopefully the rain, that's the biggest thing with these dadgum storms, is the wind's one thing, but the rain is just devastating, and it's just shuts stuff down, destroys stuff. So hopefully the wind dies down, or the rain is fairly minimal. We'll see what happens with it. Ahead of it though, especially for some of us folks inland, if it does come into the Carolinas and pushes inland, if you can get out there ahead of it, the fishing may be good. As that barometer starts to fall before the bad stuff gets to you, there can be some good fishing. It's going to affect stuff, and that's the thing I write about in my blog that I was telling you about, is that it just has such a wide impact. It goes from before the storm, falling barometer, good fishing, fish are biting, to middle of the storm when the water's rising from the river flooding, it'll be a good bite, and then you know, on the backside, you know, then you got the falling water, which is usually a bad bite, and it's just, it's a lot of stuff. These storms, and not just hurricanes. It doesn't have to be a super big hurricane. It can just be any type of low pressure that moves in like this, has an effect on the fishing, and it's a widespread effect for, it affects many days, especially if you get flooding. You start getting river and lake flooding, it can take a week to 2 weeks for things to get back to quote unquote normal. So yeah, something's, you know, even in our fishing world, I know there's much more important things than fishing when it comes to hurricanes, but it's something to keep in mind. It's kind of a timely topic to keep in mind just for other fronts that'll be coming through, especially in the wintertime. Summertime's not as big a deal with cold fronts and low pressures and stuff that are not hurricanes, just the normal ones. They don't have as big effect. But going into the fall, going into wintertime, fronts have a major impact on fishing. And so just something to keep in mind as the winter months approach. Keep an eye on the weather, see what's going on. Sometimes it does pay if you've got a choice between going out there and freezing to death and staying at home, chopping some firewood or shooting a deer or something. You might want to go do that instead if it's really bad. So anyway, that's what I got going on for today. I've talked for a long time. I'm going to let you guys go. I appreciate you so much joining in. Thank you so much. Appreciate the thumbs up, the likes, anybody who signed on and subscribed. I appreciate that too. I'm going to try to do more of these. Be working for a few days, so probably won't get live. May try in the morning. We'll see. But once I get back in the swing of things next week, I'm going to try to do some live stuff. I may be toward the coast and maybe doing some stuff after the hurricane down there. So we'll see what happens. So, but anyway, I appreciate you guys joining in. Please leave any comments or questions. I really didn't look at comments and questions too much today because I was jacking my jaws and catching fish. So any of your questions or comments, put it down in the comment section. Leave your questions. I love answering questions. I'm trying to stay 100% on responding to everything, even if it's just laughing and cutting up about something. And you feel free to message me. Sometimes I don't always see the messages until like 3 or 4 days later. So, but I try to answer them. And, you know, I know some people don't want to jump out in the public forum and talk, and I understand that. That's cool. But, yeah, pass along some knowledge, spread some love, and hopefully catch a few more fish. Protect our resources. That's the big thing. That's a big thing for all of us. I don't care where you're fishing at in this country, whether it's Charles down there in Jacksonville with hook 'em in the mouth, or the guys out in Texas or wherever. Protect the resources, protect the waterways. That's the big thing, because fishermen can only do so much damage, but you get one polluted or poisoned or messed up river and it can do a lot of damage. All you need is a couple of bad spawns because of something going on, and it can wipe out some fish. So, but before we go, I got a rod going off. Stay right there. Can we see the bend? Oh, can we see the bend? Let's see the bend. If he stays buttoned, we may go home on a good note. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I can feel that little big cat fever got a little bend going on. Oh, he ain't no world record, but he's a nice one. We may get lucky and finish today with the biggest fish. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe if I try to catch the fish instead of running my mouth. I don't know if he's big or not. We'll play guess the weight. That's the way we'll close the day out, with guess the weight. I appreciate y'all watching. This has been fun. Oh yeah. A little boga. Tell you a little trick. If you try to boga, grip a fish right next to the boat, don't grab your main line if you have light line. Grab the leader. Just a little something. 17. You can't guess already. It ain't that big. Him in the mouth. That circle hook did its job right there, pal. All right. if this was the Price is Right, you'd guess beforehand, and if you get it, you get double the money you get on the wheel. Let's see what we got. All right, guess before you see it. Got to guess before you see it. All right. I'm going to say all my goodbyes and thank yous right now. Thanks for watching, guys. I really do appreciate this. This has been fun. This has been one of my most fun live feeds. I really had a good time. All right, we got all our pre-seeing it fish. Make sure I got your weight right. All right, here he is. Look at that. See that right there? What does that tell us? What does that tell us? We might stay on an extra second. I got to do a lesson here. Look at that. Good weight on him. There we go. Need to get a screen. I need to see that so I can get a screenshot of it later. Here we go. There we go. Survey says I don't know who said 10 pounds 8 ounces, but you're right, 10.8. 10.8, that's the biggest one of the day on camera. Yeah, man, I got something on this rod. I got something on my little rod. Let me get that. 10 pounds 8. This is the perch rod, but it's got a catfish on it. So, little channel cat. Oh, he flipped off. Great. I ain't got to deal with him. Little channel cat on there. We're gonna click 2. Bam, bam. If I get them to within netting distance, I count them. So, good day. So, anyway, released alive. Oh, quick lesson, what that is. They're lower, I guess you call them intestines. They come out of the vent, they're opening. And it's the way they expel stuff out of their system. Most of the time around here, it's clams and mussels. We get these fish eating a lot of clams and mussels, and they can't digest. They'll eat the entire mussel. Mussel is the same thing as a clam. They're usually about this big. They're Asiatic clams, and they're very abundant in these reservoirs. They eat them, and they get them inside of them, and the digestive system processes them. The clam pops open. It processes all the goodness inside of it, and which looks like a big old piece of snot. Actually, it looks like an oyster. It looks like any other shellfish. And I think the slime in my mouth. It's good for you though. Protein. And that was a bug I swallowed just then. I'm eating all kinds of stuff. Stand by. And anyway, they can't get those clams out of a little bitty poop hole that big. So they actually expel their whole inside and they come out. So, serious, that's the way it works. I've also seen them do it with hooks and line and all kinds of stuff. So, I can't believe this. We got another rod going off. I promise you, I was going to let you guys go eat dinner or whatever. Well, let's see if it stays hooked. I don't know if it stayed hooked or not. The fishing's just getting good. Let me see if it's still buttoned. And then I'll come say goodbye and kiss everybody goodnight. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I'm not putting any more lines out. No. Didn't stay. Good. I'm actually happy. Alright, guys. This has been really fun. In a very short amount of time, I put 13 fish in the boat. That's a good day. Got to do a bunch of them with y'all sitting here watching the freak show, and I appreciate it. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for subscribing. Thanks for all the comments, all the chatter, all the good stuff. Make sure you check out Nicholas Lyon, CC Experience. Give that kid some props and tell him I said hey. And yeah, stay subscribed and make sure notifications are turned on so that you'll know when new videos come out. Like I said, I'll be trying to do more and more of this. Work-wise for me, it gets kind of busy here in the fall, but I will say this. Come November, December, it gets slow for me and I fish a lot. And I'm going to try to go on a binge Christmas week, New Year's week with a live something every day. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes. There'll be a bunch of them though. So be some holiday entertainment. But we've got a long time between now and then. Good Lord willing, I will be back and you guys will be with me. And enjoy you watching. Enjoy being here. Enjoyed the fun. It's been cool. I think I'm going to go home. Y'all take care.